everybody. It is that time of the week again, and it is Farm Fact Friday time. So we are live on location again this week, and we are actually at one of our customers' establishments. So it is an exciting time to share with you a little bit about farm markets and produce stands. So as you may already be able to tell, we are on a US highway and it's midday, so it's a little bit noisy, but hopefully you can hear all of what we'll share today. So we are at Metzger's Farm Market, and they are located on US Highway 224, almost between Findlay, Ohio and Tiffin, Ohio. So if you're in the Findlay area, like our agency is, we are east of there. And Seth and Adam Kirian are brothers who run the operation. And today we're just going to share a little bit about how they bring locally raised produce to the area and talk a little bit about what exposures they may have as it relates to importance for insurance. And then finally, we're going to take a tour of the inside. Of course, I'll put that mask on and show you what they have to offer today. So since we're outside and no one is around me, I'm able to share this with you, and you can see all of the emotion and be able to hear me hopefully pretty clearly. So first, let's talk about a general guideline of when growing happens. So Farm Fact Friday, we did spend 1 week where we talked about gardening. This is just gardening at a bigger scale. So, fields worth of vegetable crops versus just that smaller area in your own yard. So in terms of growing, Seth and Adam get the corn crop out in as early in the spring as possible. Usually this happens to be around the 3rd week of April. And then when they set in the other plants, with their best guess in terms of weather, this would be after the frost happens. So they don't want to get those plants in the ground and then have a frost. So they use their, best judgment. Again, another example of how farmers have to deal with the things that Mother Nature throws at them. So anyway, they take and set the plants when they think the frosting is completed. So this usually takes place in early to mid-May. And then in terms of opening the farm market, this usually happens in July, and it all depends on when that first sweet corn is ready. So that kind of gives you an idea of what is planted first and when the other plants go into the ground, as well as when they can start offering their produce to the local community and those that pass by here on 224. So, okay, the second piece of what I wanted to bring you today is just some of the risks that Adam and Seth have to think about in running a farm market. Same is true for other produce markets or farm markets, farmers markets that you may go to. I know there is a farmers market in the Findlay area, so all of this is something they want to keep in mind, especially as we're dealing with the general public. So overall, the risks here are pretty low, but we're going to actually go through 6 things that have to be considered as owners of a farm market or those who have produce stands as well. So the first thing is that since we're providing since they're providing a food that is consumed, we have to worry about contaminating foods reaching the customer and causing injury. So number 1 is contaminated foods or products sold causing physical injury to the individual. The second thing is that since there's customers here, Any chance of slipping and falling, those are risks. So if you can see behind me, there's a porch on the building, and there's a chance of someone tripping on into that. So definitely a concern, and something that Seth and Adam would want to consider. So we don't want anybody to trip and fall, but those things do happen for a number of reasons. The third thing is that since people are traveling since people are traveling by vehicle, there's a potential that a collision could occur in their parking lot here. So that's a third exposure that we want to keep in mind. As we talk about weather and the fact that we can't control it, if a windstorm were to blow through here and take off part of that roof and it hits a customer's vehicle, now we're worried about damage of physical property of the customer. So that's exposure number 4. Number 5 is the fact that they have, and if it's not themselves working the farm market, they have other employees potentially that could be here. And much like we can't control the weather, we also can't control what comes out of some people's mouths. So if any lewd comments are made, this would be exposure number 5 to consider. And then finally, since they do have an inventory as it's related to their produce and other things, if you can see on the porch, there's chairs there. Those things have the potential to be stolen. They could be lost in a fire or damaged in any type of weather event. So that is our exposure number 6. So as I mentioned, in the grand scheme of things, these are low risk. These are a low risk type of operation, but definitely one that we want to consider since we are working with the public. And basically just make sure you talk, if you are in one of these operations, talk to your trusted insurance professional and make sure that your needs specific to the operation, are handled and that the coverage is present. So with that, we are going to go inside. So I'm going to grab my mask and turn this around here. Okay. So I'll just take you on a tour here and you can see for yourself what's in here. Fresh cucumbers, zucchini, squash. Sounds like sweet corn, of course, is a hot produce for the day, and I heard stuff say that Adam's out picking it right now. Lots of juicy tomatoes. Delicious on BLTs, of course.
I do remember that. Only 2 years ago. Yeah. Let's not talk, as bad as 2020 is, let's not talk about 2019. Alright, well thank you.
They also have fresh farm eggs. All right, so thanks again for all of you joining us for our Farm Fact Friday. I hope you enjoyed another on location where we looked at Metzger's Farm Market specifically. Of course, if you know of anyone that would enjoy this, please share it, and have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.